Hey everybody, welcome back to another episode of James Draws Everything, drawing the big boys of baseball. And today, we're going back a ways. We're going to go all the way back to 1908, and we're drawing this guy. You probably never heard of him. I actually couldn't really find out very much information about the guy. His name was George Fatty Hackett. All right, George Fatty Hackett, tipping the scales at 450 pounds, is widely considered to be one of the heaviest baseball players of all time. And yeah, I know that America does have an obesity epidemic right now, but this guy was doing it way back, well over 100 years ago. So George Fatty Hackett, he played for the Pennsylvania Citizens, and couldn't really find out too much info about that team either. Not technically, I don't think, like a major league team, but again, I didn't say when I was starting this category that I was just going to be doing MLB players. So James, does that mean that you're going to draw the umpire from my local beer league softball team? Probably not, but it's just keeping my options open. Yeah, so George Fatty Hackett, don't know how many stolen bases he's had. Probably not many. And yeah, this guy is very, very large. So he's got the huge thighs here. Again, probably not too many stolen bases in his career. But yeah, this guy paved the way for guys like Kruk and Beck. George Fatty Hackett ran, or George Fatty Hackett walked so that those guys could run. And yeah, that's probably a terrible analogy because I don't think anybody on this list is doing a lot of running. Okay. So this is his jersey's kind of tucked in here. Give him his face. I'm just gonna split that down the middle just to see where we need to put his nose and his eyes. And because we're going way back in time here, I'm gonna keep this monochrome. All right, so we're gonna kind of just hit this with like some grays and like a sepia tone, just to give that old-timey baseball feel. Alright, and then he's got kind of a fence behind him. And just like some trees. And yeah, there's only about, I think, 2 pictures of this guy in existence, as far as I know. That's all I could really find about him. Alright, just make him a little bit wider. Okay. And now I'm going to start going in. I have 2 brown tones, a light and a dark. So I'm just going to go in with my light one and just kind of start mapping some shadows where I want the shadows to be. Alright, so he's got one of them old-timey baseball hats. So that's pretty dark up top. Yeah, and Fatty Hackett here, he might be asking him, or you might be asking, why the nickname Fatty? Well, yeah, back in 1908, they were unapologetic with nicknames. All right, if you were fat, your nickname was Fatty. All right, if you were skinny, your nickname was Bones. Right, if you were left-handed, they called you Lefty. They were unforgiving back then. So, and I kind of appreciate that. I kind of miss that time. Everybody's too sensitive now. All right, so he's got more than one chin. He's got there we go. Yeah, and he is wearing like does have like the long sleeves underneath his uniform. So we'll just kind of get some of that detail in there. Just there's his arm coming out. It's very tight around the wrist, so we got some folds bringing in Bringing in the shirt over to his collar there. He's got pudgy hands holding that bat. And again, if you can find out any information about this guy, please let me know, because I tried looking up a lot about this guy, because of course I did. This kind of stuff interests me. Like, just look at the state of this man. This guy was a baseball player. Makes John Kruk look like Randy Johnson. All right. And yeah, George Fatty Hackett, again, 1908. This guy was, I don't know how true this is, but apparently he did go into the circus after his baseball career, and he was like one of the guys that you would see, oh, come see, the world's largest man or something, pay us $2 or whatever. So yeah, you actually used to have to pay to see people that looked like this back in the day. And, I don't mean to make fun of the guy, George Fatty Hackett. Hey, I'm honoring him here with my drawing. I don't know, I'm probably the only person on YouTube who's even talking about this guy, let alone drawing him. So Fatty Hackett, I appreciate you. I respect you. But yeah, George Fatty Hackett, let me just draw, he's got the Citizens logo here. Real simple logo, just says Citizens going across the chest. What was I saying? Oh yeah, so you used to have to pay to see people like George Fatty Hackett, but I don't know, if I went to the local Walmart right now, I don't know, George Fatty Hackett, if he was there, if he was still alive, he might not even be like the 7th fattest guy there. So, how the times have changed. Yeah, and this guy, I mean, my God, he's got enormous legs. Yeah, fat grew differently back then. Like, this guy, he doesn't even really have like a huge gut. It's just all lower body fat. So we're gonna detail that here. We got a lot of folds in his pants here in the uniform, because yeah, that poor fabric is getting taxed to the limits. Trying to cover up this guy, Fatty Hackett. Okay, and then he's got like his knee socks on underneath, so we're cutting him off a little bit at the legs there, so we won't see all that. And then just kind of give a little bit of a background. He's just playing in a field, so we don't gotta go too crazy with details, just some lines. And then our fence. Okay, and there's like a tree or a post or something in the background. So just remember, I don't want to make this part too dark. You always make your background lighter, and then all your darks, like with your shadows and stuff, keep them darkest in your foreground. That way your eye is drawn to the foreground like it should be instead of the background. Okay, so now that I got the basics on there, let me just take my eraser, start getting rid of some of them grid lines or guidelines. I always say grid lines, I should be saying guidelines, right? Okay. It's probably a little hangover from my flag episodes where I did all grid lines. Okay, so now I'm going to use my darker brown here, and I'm just going to kind of extend some of these shadows. And I want that Citizens logo, I want your eye to hit that, so make that dark. His undershirt here is a little bit darker. And this is almost all shadow because it's being foreshortened. Okay, and this side too is his shadow because the light's coming from this way. So we're just gonna kind of add some deeper shadows to that side. Again, where I already put my folds, I can kind of just go over them a little bit more with the darker brown. So just sketching a little bit. And now that I have my basic map of where I want the color, or not the colors, but the shadows to be, can just go ahead and start my scribbles a little bit here and just work in some more folds. Very dark under that chin there. Got a lot of chins. Alright, and then his nose is a little bit lighter on one side, so we're just going to give his eyes a little bit more character here. Make that hat nice and dark. The hat is probably the darkest thing that he's wearing. Again, this isn't a color photo that I'm drawing from, but I'm guessing his uniform's probably like a lighter gray, and then the hat's probably darker. Okay, so I got my, you can just see he's got a little bit darker of a shadow underneath here too. Okay. And his big ol' hands, his big paws here. And just darken up that baseball bat. Get his fingers. And this is the darker part of the bat where the wrap is, and then the wood is over here, so just leave that a little bit lighter. And I'm just gonna go over those buttons a little bit more, close off that seam, or the whatever you want to call it, down the center of his jersey there. Alright, so I got some more darks there. Now I'm going to take my fatter marker. Fatter. Come on, James, be sensitive here. Alright, my bigger marker for the bigger boys of baseball here, and just kind of go over some more shadows. His face, just shadow on that one side. Alright, now I want to take a lighter gray and just kind of work out some more depth here as far as where the light's hitting. And I can probably take a darker gray and go in into some of those really dark shadows. So really just kind of give myself some more outlines. Yeah, I have no clue how long this guy lived, Fatty Hackett. Guessing he probably didn't live a long life for obvious reasons. But yeah, kind of hard to find information on. Don't know if he had a family, where they are at now, if he did. Yep, he's one of the original big boys. And you know, here at James Draws Everything, we respect our history and our tradition. So you can't have a Rod Beck or a John Kruk without a Fatty Hackett, right? He paved the way. He ain't no athlete, he's a baseball player. And I really want to see some stats for this guy. I don't know, I don't think he was major league, so I don't know how easy that would be to find as far as like even any, again, he was hard to find information on. but I don't know, did he bunt a lot? I'm guessing he was a bunter. Something tells me this guy wanted to avoid running the bases as much as possible. Alright. And I'm just going to make this a little bit darker down here. Alright, so we got kind of like an old-timey photo. And then with my background here, I'm just going to hit that. This is just like a sky, I guess, so I'm just going to hit that with like a lighter gray. And some of these we can just make a little bit finer with the dark. And whatever this is in the background, just kind of add some more depth to it. Take my lighter, or whoops, yeah, the lighter brown, but the fatter side of the marker, and just kind of blend that gray into it a little bit. And then let's see, I want to take my lighter one, or my thinner one, and just kind of make that background pop a little bit more. These are like just trees and stuff that are kind of blurry, fading away into the background. Here again, just some more straight lines, just to show where the fence is, because it's so far in the background and we don't want to focus on it. We're not going to draw like every single pane in the, or every panel in the fence, just, you know, quick and easy there. And take my lighter gray, and then maybe just bleed that out a little bit more. Okay, and then maybe with this too, we can just add a little bit more gray to that background piece. And then I want to hit that a little bit more with a medium for this. Maybe hit it with the fine a little bit more too. Okay, so I got most of my colors, I think, where I want them. Now I'm just going to go in with my marker. I'm going to use, let's see, I'm going to use a 0.3, and then just kind of give them some outlines here. Just make the shapes stand out. Old floppy baseball hat, and just hit those eyes a little bit more. Got a very round chin there, more than one, so add another one on the bottom. And can you tell me anything about the Citizens either? The Pennsylvania Citizens. I don't know, I'm actually not sure where in Pennsylvania they were from. Yeah, that was Fatty's team. Okay, and then just add a few more black lines down here, because that's where the that's where all the folds in his uniform go. Alright, and then just touch up his baseball bat. Okay, so now pretty satisfied with where everything is. I think I'm just going to take a lighter gray and then just kind of fill in where there's any white spots in the dark. I'll leave the other side white there, but yeah, just draw those shadows out a little bit more. Make everything come together. And just maybe hit it with a darker one where his legs meet. Alright, everybody, so that's George Fatty Hackett, one of the originators, one of the forefathers of the big boys of baseball. So don't forget, like, comment, and subscribe, and I will catch you on the next video.